Welcome, folks, to the Craig Bushon Show, live from the Travis County Republican Party. Can you believe it? Could you tell by the signs behind me, folks, that I'm actually in a place where Republicans do their business in Austin, Texas? That's almost an oxymoron when you say Austin, Texas, and the Republican Party. Because for many, many years, there's been a stronghold by the Democrats in this region. Talk a little bit more about that later. Also, how the Tea Party's helped in the past, in the future, or in the present and in the future. Are going to have at 3 o'clock today, Mr. Dean Wright, the co-founder and director of New Revolution Now. He'll be on at 3 o'clock. Also, my good friend Mr. David Whitehead will be in just a few minutes talking about what's latest in his world. But before we get to all that stuff, and we're going to talk about the convention, we're going to talk about what we're doing here on Be First in Media. This is a soft launch, okay, for Be First in Media, befirstinmedia.com. And yeah, we were smart. We also bought firstinmedia.com, befirstinmarketing.com, all those, because what we're building for you, ladies and gentlemen, and as you know, I spent many, many years in traditional format, traditional radio, FCC-regulated stuff, okay? So, what am I doing now? Well, what I'm doing now is working with some very smart people. We are designing a place for you to go. If you want to be first, if you want to get the stuff you need to know so you can make intelligent decisions, whether it's who to vote for, whether it's what you need to know about the next rule that might be coming down that's going to affect you and your life. Well, the Craig Bushon Show is going to be everything that it's been. General talk, politics, and opinions. It's going to be exclusively on Be First in Media. But we have other great genres, okay? We're going to have sports. We're going to have spa talk. Now, when I say spa talk, it's about people in the spa industry. And I don't mean the jacuzzi-type spas. I mean, you know, like the beauty, healthcare, or beauty and hair and spa world. I'm getting massages and all that kind of stuff. Getting facials. As you know, I have rosacea. Those of you who have followed me over the years know that I've been battling that, and I've been using the Novita Spa product line. And what's exciting is that Megan DiMartino is going to be launching her own show called Spa Talk on the 17th of September. Also, behind the cameras right now is Mr. Gabriel Neela. I'd say, how are you? And he could just wave to me. He's waving. He is the host of the Common Man Show, and he's not too common. And that looks like it's going to be airing on Saturdays, and I'm excited about that. And we're going to be doing a dual broadcast for F7 in the next week or two, and more about that later. Check us out on Facebook, even though Facebook's not doing well. Their stock's at like 18 and dropping. Yeah, I told you all about that, folks. I said don't invest in Facebook. But yet here I am promoting this show and the network on Facebook. Facebook is relevant, but it is not worth investing your money into. Okay? I mean, I use toilet paper every day. I don't own any of that stock. None. Maybe I should. But you can check us out. Go to Facebook. When you go to Facebook, go to befirstinmedia.com. You can also get to it by going to the Craig Bushon Show. And a lot of cool stuff. Very excited about what we're doing with Be First in Media. Too much to talk about. Again, this is a soft launch. Very excited about the Travis County Republican Party allowing me to come here today. I didn't invite anybody but you. Nobody. We will soon be doing an event, probably right from here. And what's even more crazy than that is I'm reaching out to the Democrats to see if they'll let me in their domain. Oh, could you imagine that? Could you Listen, I'm an equal opportunity guy. I've had a great write-up by a former senator here in Texas, Hector Uribe. And he did a great write-up because I'm an equal opportunity guy. I'm fair, and I'm balanced, and I'm not on Fox. But again, folks, Craig Bushon Show going 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock every Sunday. And here's something interesting. As you know, I always post stuff up on Facebook. I'm always putting things there, no matter what the stock's doing. I believe it's a great medium to share stuff with you. And we also are now going to start feeding a lot of our blogs and a lot of great news content at befirstinmedia.com. And when you go there, look for the latest and greatest of all types of media that's there. We are going to have sports. We're going to have economics. We're going to have, shows like mine, shows like Gabriel's, The Common Man Show, and many, many more to come. Women uplifting women. I could go on. Lots of great stuff. Okay. And but up on Facebook, so what's interesting that's going on right now in the world is there's a post. We're all worried about the economy, right? And in a few minutes, I'm going to talk about the economy, and I'm going to talk about what's going on with whether I believe the convention fixed some of the issues that should have been fixed. Whether I believe that Mitt Romney, God bless him, okay? I know he's Mormon, and they don't like to say that God's name like that, but I'm saying God bless him because I think personally, overall, I give him a B, a solid B, okay? But I'm going to tell you why he didn't get an A in my book and with some things that he needs to change, okay? And I said a lot of stuff about good old Rick Perry when he was running, and he didn't fix any of those things, and look what happened to him, okay? I predicted Ted Cruz would beat the lieutenant governor. He was on this show several times. I told many people within my own party, many people, that Ted Cruz is going to beat the incumbent, one of the wealthiest people in all of politics, and I was told by many insiders, and even the polls out there said it wasn't going to happen, and guess what? They were wrong, and I was right. And I'm not saying that I'm some prophet of politics, but I am telling you that you don't have to have the tea leaves, okay? You don't have to be able to read those things. You don't have to put you're too close to the ground, as the Indians would say, to kind of get a pulse of what's going on. It's obvious that there is a movement happening in this country. It's obvious that there are things going on that are outside the control of what you'd call the staunch, traditional, status quo, Republican and or Democrat party leadership or elitists. What happened in the races here in Texas, the biggest upset to ever happen in the state of Texas, was the upset that just happened with Ted Cruz beating the lieutenant governor. So you can go to all those other sources in media, you can go to all those other sources to try to find out what the facts are, but a lot of them are wrong. Okay? Because there's a huge movement out there. There's a paradigm shift we're in the middle of, folks. There's a paradigm shift that we have to understand. That whether you follow it on Facebook and you're following all your friends and you're trying to get... I had somebody tell me that, and it's actually endearing. It truly is. I had somebody tell me, it's almost embarrassing, I'm going to share it with you, that a gentleman who I've known, just through some other people, he goes, Craig, I want to thank you. And I said, for what? He goes, I want to thank you for your posts on Facebook. I said, well, why? He goes, because I get all my news through you. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, I didn't know that. And so I would assume there's more people that do that. And Facebook, I have several different ones. I have the Craig Bushon Show. I have Craig Bushon. I have Home Energy Solutions, because I have a heavy background and I care about the environment and I care about energy, but I'm not some wacko who believes that, that the world's coming to an end because of plastic bags. Okay? But I'll tell you something, folks. There are those of us who do have an instinct about what's going on. And when I post stuff up, and what we're going to be doing in Be First in Media for all different genres is to get relevant information to you and get it to you as fast as possible. Okay? And please understand, being first doesn't mean you're the first one to be out there, because a lot of the stuff that first gets out there is wrong. A lot of stuff that's put out there on the airways first is not correct. Being first and being right might actually mean you're 7th or 8th or 10th coming out the gate. Due diligence means something. So the bottom line is, folks, what you can look for here, and what I'm going to constantly share with you to the best abilities that I have, and bringing in some very, very smart people around me in my show and my programming that I personally am involved with, is to get you the facts. We're going to be diving into a lot of issues. We're going to be diving into the Middle East. We're going to be diving into, what is the state of the union? I mean, like I mentioned, we've got Dean Wright, co-founder and director, big Tea Party guy, New Revolution Now, on the show today. And I'm sitting in the Travis County Republican Party. Why? Because by my opinion, the Republican Party owes, as a whole, owes the Tea Party for being relevant again. Relevancy is being top of mind. Think of Google, right? To be relevant, to be on the first page, you have to be what people want to see, or you pay a lot of money. That's interesting too, isn't it? Two worlds collide. A lot like politics, right? Refer back to what I was just talking about with Ted Cruz and the Lieutenant Governor. Google, a company that pays to be on top, okay? And no matter what, is always on top. No matter how relevant you are, they're always on top because they're in that special shaded box, okay? That special shaded box that does not exist in the political world. Unless you really pay attention. Please follow my theory here in my education. It's not even a theory, it's fact. Politicians have their relevancy to most of you because they own media, they have tons of money, and they have the ability to be in that shaded box. What that means is whenever you turn on the TV or whenever you go on your computer, think of Google now, I don't want to lose you here, and then the first thing when you punch in anything and whatever's relevant, whoever's paid the most money, that's who's on top. Okay? And they're in the shaded area, so it gets your attention. See, on Google, it's obvious because you know that. But in the real world, outside of that, outside of the shading on Google, in the political world, you don't see that. Heck, I can say that about some products that are out there. Everyday products that you go to the store and buy that are junk, but they have a lot of money behind them, they get out there. I always know, you're not always using the best product line of anything that we buy in the grocery store. A lot of it has to do with the power that the companies have to get their stuff out there. And sometimes it's suppressing an even better product that they don't own that they can't get their hands on. Okay? Make sense? So the political world is the same way. The political world is designed that when you turn on the television set, when you Google, information about the Republican Party or the convention. How about that? Just go to your computer and GOP convention. But here's a fun game. Take 4 of your friends and have them all bring over their laptops. And then everybody Google the same thing and see what comes up. See if it's the same thing. I suspect that it won't be. I suspect some things will be different. Here's why I'm saying that. I was trying to I had to buy some rims. Somebody hit me in my car, and a very nice old man hit me. Seriously, he was like 90-something years old. He was driving, and he merged into me and knocked me off the road, bent a few rims. And I went online, and I Googled it. I need to get some rims. I had 18 inches, on my car. They're nice. They were 5-Zagen rims. They're beautiful rim. And guess what? The body shop said they couldn't be fixed, so I had to go online. So I said, let me look at some rims. And as soon as I did that and I found a couple that I liked and I narrowed it down to I like this particular brand at this particular website. But I didn't buy anything. I shut down my computer. The next day, and the next day, and the next day, and a week later, and 10 days later, because it's been about that now since I started that search. Every time I open up a window to go somewhere, I see the advertisement for those rims. Every single time I go on the page. Every time. I'm like, how did they know that? How did they know? It's weird. I never saw that advertising before, but now I see it in front of me all the time. Like a billboard. Like something trying to tell me that I'm supposed to go do something. How did they know that? That's because, Google watches what I'm doing all the time. So they find out the key things that I'm looking at, and then they do what? Inundate me because somebody else is paying them to do that. I suspect probably the people who are selling the rims and the rim manufacturer. Sorry, I already bought them, and it was a different brand. Sorry. So you're kind of wasting your advertising. But anyway, that's really not the moral of the story here. The moral of the story is that there's people tracking what you're doing all the time, and they're trying to put their finger on your pulse, and they're going to constantly inundate you with their money and their message, the M&M, right? And it's not the chocolate candies that don't melt in your hand, and they do melt in your hand, by the way. Just try it. They like melt. It's like that's the colors on your hands. Yeah. But anyway, I digress. The fact is that they think they know what you want to do. So they inundate you. I suspect some people go, oh, wow, I forgot. I wanted to buy that product, and I'm so glad they kept telling me about it, and then they go buy it. I suspect that happens. But there's a bigger picture than this. Everything is interconnected, and you have to know this. You have to know that you're being inundated through propaganda all the time. And there's two different worlds out there. There's the ones that get to stay in the shaded box. They're the ones that are there that pay the big money, no matter on what page, whoever's there, whoever goes and looks for that particular thing, that particular keyword, they're always in the box. That's power brokers. Get it? Big money people. Those are the ones that are there all the time. So they seem relevant to you. I mean, Barney Frank, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Brainwashing, how does that work? How do you do a show on brainwashing? Folks, I mean, come on. We're smarter than this. Know that this is what's happening. So, how does this all play into Ted Cruz and the lieutenant governor? The biggest upset, both of them on my show. I looked at both of them, I talked to both of them, and I said, you know what? I made my prediction. Ted Cruz was going to win. Why? All the indicators said that he wouldn't win. All the indicators would say, the polls, I mean, come on. The polls said, Dewhurst by 7. Some were more. And he lost by like 13 or 14. That's weird. How did that happen? Pendulum swing. Paradigm shift. That's what it means, folks. A paradigm shift means that. A paradigm shift means that things happen normally that didn't used to happen, and there's going to be some, especially the ones who like the pendulum on their side, that are not going to be happy about it, and they're going to throw a lot of money at it. The last thing I heard Ted Cruz say is that the lieutenant governor put $25 million of his own money in. Now, when he got $250 million, what's that, right? And I'm not saying I don't like the lieutenant governor. He seems like a fine man. I had him on Memorial Day, and he's talking about his dad. He's talking about his great he's got great history. Worked with the CIA. He was a pilot. He's got all this stuff. What happened was the world is changing in real time, some for the good, some for the bad. The good part is in politics, those shaded areas, the paid-for money people, the ones that are on Google in the shaded boxes, people aren't clicking on those anymore. They're starting to read down the line a little bit, and they're starting to go, wait a minute. I think that's relevant. I like what that line says, where people didn't used to pay attention. You know, was this the bright, shiny object in the corner? Oh, what's that? Oh, I like that. Huh? No, not anymore, because you're smarter than this, folks. And you're proving it. You're proving it because Ted Cruz destroyed the incumbent. Destroyed it. And the governor was behind him. Still destroyed him. That's a paradigm shift. Please understand, folks. You could hear Karl Rove. You could hear those wacky people on MSNBC, which I try to not. Who is that lady? Melissa Harris, yeah. I'm going to talk about her a little bit. Melissa Harris, she's a sweet lady on MSNBC. No. Folks, here's the good news. I've been ranting and raving because I'm excited. I'm truly excited. I'm excited about Be First in Media. I'm very tired of what I couldn't do on other mediums. Get to the facts. I'm excited because you're paying attention, folks. It's that Tora moment, in World War II. The awakening of a sleeping giant. You, ladies and gentlemen, you, us, we the people, we will define this country. And it won't be easy, but make no mistake, there is a movement afoot, and it's because a lot of you are paying attention. There are far more people out there that are united in this country than divided. There are far more of you. Doesn't matter about your color of skin. Matter of fact, I'm a redhead, half Italian, talking with a black man and a Mexican woman the other day in one room, and we all agreed. All three of us. I'm like a redhead, half Italian, like a half-breed, right? And a black young man, Y generation, and a Hispanic woman in her, I'd say, 50s. And we all agreed. There's a quote, I said I'd talk a little bit about, there was a rant and a rave from MSNBC, Melissa Harris Perry, and she was talking about what was going on with, the have and the have-nots, basically. I posted it up on Facebook. If you go to the Craig Bushon Show on Facebook, I have the link right there. You just click on it, and it says, hey, Craig Bushon answers Melissa Harris Perry's question. It says, basically what the video, what the interview, what goes on for quite some time, talking about the inequality, about how many people are suppressed in this country, and how the Democrats are really the ones who are going to help them. And I posted on there, let's be clear, with an exclamation point. The Democrat Party has been holding reign of welfare and so-called defending of the poor for decades. And that I will share my opinion and solution to this problem today. And on the program, I'm going to tell you what I believe and why I believe that President Lincoln's quote, you can fool some of the people all of the time, and all of the people some of the time, but you cannot fool all of the people all of the time. That is apropos. Because the bottom line is, folks, how long can a party say that they're there for you? How long? I'm talking to anyone out there who believes that the way to fix the problem of the social economic issue in this country is to keep people in a position where they keep getting more money from the government, and the raise for you is you get a little bit more in your food stamps, or you get a little bit more, just a little bit more on your WIC, and you get really excited when you go to Walmart and there's a new thing that you can get now. Hooray! That's so exciting. I'm not saying that to demean anybody. I'm saying that because it's ridiculous. In this country, first of all, anyone who needs help in this country should get help in this country. Every single person who is in true need, if you have a health issue, if you're truly sick, you should be helped in this country. If you have something that you have a disability, and we have to define that a little bit better, I think. But if you truly have a disability, you need help. You should get help. Here in this country, the wealthiest nation to ever live needs to help those who cannot help themselves. But the biggest issue we have in this country is there are a whole lot of people out there who have been designed, they've been born into a mindset that makes them enslaved to a future that binds them to having nothing without somebody in a position of power in politics defining what their next day is. It's a bad day in this country and in any country when you have to actually worry about the next election changing your life. It's a bad day when you worry about the price of fuel. No, let's make no mistake. I think the price of fuel is ridiculous. I think that I'm sitting in a Republican room right now. I mean, who's that right there? Romney Ryan. What are they going to do about it? I have no idea what they're going to do about it. I don't know what they're going to do about $3.69 a gallon gas in Texas, $3.89 national average right now today, the day before Labor Day. I have no idea, but here's what I do know. I do know what this president's done about it. He's made it go to here because he said he would do it. He said that gas would necessarily rise. Energy would necessarily rise. If you wanted to open up a coal plant or a nuclear plant, oh, you could do it. But it'd be so expensive because of regulations, new regulations, that you couldn't do it. Or you'd have to pass that on to the end user. That end user, folks, is us. That's our own government telling us, as our economy is the worst it's been since the Depression, during that time, let's make decisions that make it even harder to go to work. But see, if you don't have to worry about going to work, I guess you don't have to worry about that, do you? Because if you don't have a job, and you're on welfare, and you don't have a job, and you don't want a job, you don't really care what gas costs, do you? But see, if you want to have a job and you want to get out from underneath the shadow and the cloud of the government putting you in your place, because you refuse to be part of the statistic that says, get in the bread line. Be excited because this time it's pumpernickel. And if you don't like pumpernickel, you could lobby your congressman and maybe he'll get you some rye. Because it's all about how many choices of bread you get, right? And how exciting it is that you don't have to have margarine anymore. You can actually have real butter. You don't have to have Sunny Delight anymore. You can have real Florida-grown orange juice. Folks, you understand the point that I'm making here, don't you? This country is designed for capitalism. This country is designed for you and me, for all of us to succeed. Think of it this way, folks. Let me sip my free advertising for Coca-Cola. That tastes fake, but boy, I like it. Not really. That's all we had. This is all they had at the Travis County Republican Party was Diet Coke. Yes, Gabriel.
No, if it's okay, I'm gonna kind of interject a little bit.
Yeah, you're gonna interject.
I know you're.
Go right ahead.
I just had to let you just go on
my tangent, on
yes.
my monologue.
Yes, I had to let you do that monologue, but that way you can go ahead and take a break.
Take a sip of my Coke. Please introduce yourself to the folks because they can't see you.
Yes, and I'm the hidden person behind the cameras over here, folks. This is Gabriel Nila. Kind of one of the cohorts in crime here. We actually have another person here with us, and I
That's
think we're
David Whitehead.
Yes. Would you like me to?
Yeah, I'd like to bring David Whitehead in.
Okay.
Thank you. David Whitehead, come up to the mic. People know who you are, Mr. David Whitehead. I love that shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you. It's a good friend of mine made this for me. His name's Craig Bushon.
Yes, I recognize that name. So, am I wrong here, guys? Am I wrong? Now, you're interrupting me. I was in the middle of my groove. I didn't mean, I did go to my Coca-Cola, though.
Well, the pumpernickel part was really good.
Did you like that? Because, well, listen, where am I wrong? Where am I wrong? Gabriel, go ahead. Where am I wrong? You're the common man. You're the host of the Common Man Show. Where am I wrong? And I'm not even done yet, so you might say something. I go, see, I was going to say something, but go ahead.
I think you're absolutely right on everything that you're saying right now.
Okay.
And especially with that, whatever her name is.
Yeah, MSNBC, that would be Melissa Harris Perry from MSNBC.
She is an absolute nut.
Yes, and who's the other host that looks like Beaker, a female Beaker from the Muppets?
Chris, is that the Chris guy?
No, not the guy. That's his sister. No, that's the brother, but the sister who's also on, I forget her name. But anyway, go ahead. So go ahead. So I'm right.
Yes.
Good, I like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to have someone else tell you, yeah, you're right.
That makes me feel good.
I think you were wrong about the Coca-Cola.
What, you don't like the Coca-Cola?
You said it tasted fake, and
It does taste fake. Well, it tastes just like Coca-Cola, but it tastes like it's not something I should drink. But It has just enough of something that I just need to have it. And what it is it's helping quench my thirst. Because it's probably safer than the bottle of water and plastic. But I don't know. I could be wrong.
The Coke and the pumpernickel, those were my favorite parts of the monologue.
But it's true. I mean, is it not true that the pumpernickel, people are born into a way that they feel. Oh, let me say it this way. People are born into, they're tattooed. They're born with their whole life plan in front of them, derived by the government. Because one begets the other. We have one generation feeding the other generation that, for instance, the Democrat Party, who I do not believe is the answer to freeing the average person in this country who does not have the wealth to go buy what they want to buy when they want to buy it. See, here's how I define success. It isn't having a giant boat, though it is nice. It isn't having a big plane. It isn't having to fly first class. It isn't any of that. What it is, it's, when gas could double to $6 a gallon. Now ask me if I'm pissed off about it. I'm pissed off about it. I don't want it to be $6 a gallon. I think we're being fed a bunch of BS. Okay? And we'll talk a lot. I will talk in depth about global warming. See Home Energy Solutions in the background I have there. Love to. I've done a lot of stuff, dissertations on it, and I love to talk about it. But here's the big issue. If you're upset about it because you think you're being gypped, ripped off, lied to, that's one thing. But if you're upset about it because you can't feed your family because you had to buy a tank of gas to get to work, and even if you got a raise, the raise wouldn't even cover the average uptick in the cost of filling up your car, okay? Because the average income in this country has dropped tremendously. 40% of the wealth in the last few years of all Americans has gone away. But here's my biggest issue. The average American in this country actually is upset about fuel going up because they can't afford it. And I don't like that. I don't like that people can't afford it. See, the wealthy people, the Mitt Romneys of the world, yes, the Obamas, all of them, they're millionaires. They're all millionaires. Every single one. Most politicians are millionaires. The federal level. Oh, and the state level. See Texas politics. They don't. Why would it matter to them? It doesn't matter to them that you could go to 18, 20, 30 bucks a gallon. Big deal. It's nothing. But to the average person out there, the Obama administration, hope and change, the strategic thing to do, let's say there really is an issue with the trees and the bees. Maybe let's say there really is. If you're dying on the vine, it doesn't matter anyway. If you don't have the ability to pay your mortgage or to pay your rent or buy food, or you have to ingest cruddy food, okay? Food that's really, really bad for you because you're broke. And you're broke, it's bad enough you haven't been taught economics. Meaning that every single person, Gabriel, David, it's your name, Inc. It's your name, Inc. Every single person no one should use their social security number for business to get a job. They should start their own company called David Whitehead, Inc. And have everybody write a check to that. Go to work doing that. Why? Because it goes back to what Mitt Romney said. Mitt Romney said, and everyone's jumping on him. This is what frustrated me, folks. And this show jumps party lines. I am a truly independent person. I believe that we need to start focusing on the issues and getting out of the bedroom and getting out of telling people how they're going to live their life, micromanaging it. Sorry. The Republican Party lost a tremendous amount of people a number of years ago when they jumped real heavy into the abortion issue. Real heavy into that. And how's that working out for us? Not too well, because we lost a lot of women. Not saying that you can't have an opinion on it, but it's not up to us to define everything. The number one job of the government of this country is to keep us sovereign. The number one job in the U.S. Constitution is to protect the borders of this country. to keep us sovereign. Nowhere does it say that you're going to tell me what I'm going to eat, what I'm going to drink, who I'm going to have sex with. Nowhere does it say that. David, do you know anywhere that it says that?
Well, on my driver's license, it does tell me who I have to have sex with.
Are you an organ donor?
Very,
Well,
very.
you know. Folks.
There was a point, though, I wanted to point out.
Yes, go ahead.
For most of us, the regular people, you know, the gas prices is only a small part of the problem that high gas prices cause. When the gas prices go up, the prices of everything across the board goes up.
Yes.
Every goods,
Absolutely.
every service that we use.
So I would ask anybody who would vote for anybody that would do what has just happened in this country. And if those people do it, make no mistake, I'll be talking about it. And so should you. See, we have to start learning what impeachment is, and we got to start learning what recalls are. We have to understand that the most powerful thing we have when we vote, ladies and gentlemen, is the ability to remove the suckers that we put in there. Okay? That's powerful. So when any people sit there, well, I don't vote, you know, because it doesn't make a difference. It's all corrupt anyway. You know, sorry, this is my New York thing. You know, I don't do it. I'm going to do it. Are you kidding me? Are you nuts? Here's the thing. If you vote, then you can get them out of there. If you don't vote, you can't. What time is it? I don't know. You know, maybe we should play some music or something. Put me in a better mood. I'm in a great mood, actually. No, that's okay. Well, you could sing something. How about hey, it's Labor Day tomorrow. You guys excited about Labor Day?
I like laboring one day a year.
Yeah, well, Labor Day is brought to you by the unions, you know. Did you know that?
Yes, and I will be enjoying work.
You on Labor Day?
Yes.
Yes, good.
I'll be sitting in my office trying to do something productive with my life. And
well, here's a little history about Labor Day. You want a little break? Let's take a little break. We'll go back to politics. We have at 3 o'clock, just after the 3 o'clock hour, Dean Wright, co-founder and director of New Revolution Now, is supposed to be here, but you know, traffic. Supposed to be here about 3 o'clock. But here's a little history about Labor Day. Hope this is just bring the kids around. This is like listening and watching back in the day before there was real TV. You know, bring the kids around, like Orson Welles.
Tell us a story.
Yeah, let me tell you a story. Observed on the first Monday in September, Labor Day pays tribute to the contributions and achievements of American workers. It was created by the labor movement in the late 19th century and became a federal holiday in 1894. Labor Day also symbolizes the end of summer for many Americans and is celebrated with parties, parades, and athletic events. Now, I mean, see, that's great. And just so in case you think I'm making this up, I went directly to the source. The first thing I did, I went to God, and that's Google. Okay, because the new God on earth and the new parent is Google, by the way. Just so you know this, and because I don't know about you, but a lot of parents get asked something by their kids. The parents go, I don't know. Google it, right? You want to know something about the Pope? You Google it. You want to know something about the Presbyterians? You Google it. Well, I Googled history of Labor Day, and then I went to the history.com. And history.com, it's very interesting. I don't think a lot of people really realize what Labor Day, how it really became Labor Day, and how it kind of plays into the current environment that we live in. You know, remember what happened up in Wisconsin, you know, with the governor and the unions, you know, come on, I mean, it's not that long ago. But listen to this, it's very interesting. So bring the kids around. Labor Day, an annual celebration of workers and their achievements, originated during one of American labor history's most dismal chapters. In the late 1800s, at the height of the Industrial Revolution, in the United States, the average American worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week in order to eke out a basic living. Despite restrictions in some states, children as young as 5 or 6 toiled in mills. factories and mines across the country, earning a fraction of their adult counterparts' wages. People of all ages, particularly the very poor and recent immigrants, often faced extremely unsafe working conditions with insufficient access to fresh air, sanitary facilities, and breaks. As manufacturing increasingly supplanted agriculture as the wellspring of American employment, labor unions, which had first appeared in the late 18th century, grew more prominent and vocal. They began organizing strikes and rallies to protest poor conditions and compel employers to renegotiate hours and pay. Many of these events turned violent during this period, including the infamous Haymarket Riot, or infamous, Haymarket Riot of 1886, in which several Chicago policemen and workers were killed. Others gave rise to long-standing traditions. On September 5, 1882, 10,000 workers took unpaid time off to march from City Hall to Union Square in New York City. Holding the first Labor Day parade in U.S. history, the idea of working man's holiday, celebrated on the first Monday in September, caught on in other industrial centers across the country, and many states passed legislation recognizing it. Taking a pause there for questions, and for you to explain to your kids that, yes, they too did work in the 1800s at 5 and 6 years old. And mom and dad were gone all the time, 12 hours a day. Right here in America. Did you notice they didn't say nothing about black, white, Hispanic, Chicano, Chinese? Everybody. Everybody. So you would think, hey, everyone's going to get behind that. Everybody. I mean, you can't have kids work. Government would be all over that. How could the government even allow that to happen? It's always looking out for your best interests, folks. Refer back to the Bill of Rights. We'll have to read that sometime on this show again. Congress would not legalize the holiday until 12 years later, when a watershed moment in American labor history brought workers' rights squarely into the public's view. On May 11th, 1894, employees of the Pullman Palace Car Company in Chicago went on strike to protest wage cuts and the firing of union representatives. On June 26th, the American Railroad Union, led by Eugene V. Debs, called for a boycott of the Pullman railroad cars, crippling the railroad traffic nationwide. To break the strike, the federal government dispatched troops to Chicago, unleashing a wave of riots that resulted in deaths of more than a dozen workers. In the wake of this massive unrest and the attempt to repair ties with American workers, Congress passed an act making Labor Day a legal holiday in the District of Columbia and the Territories. So what do you think about that, Mr. David Whitehead?
Well, I'm glad that Barry Goldwater invented the Labor Day weekend, and that's what I got out of that.
But really think about this. The government was watching this happen. This great government of ours that's supposed to take care of all the people, the way our founding fathers said they shouldn't. You know, this government that's supposed to look out for everybody somehow is allowing every single day 5 and 6 year olds and mom and dads work 12 hours a day. Why did the government not step in?
In the coal mines?
The average worker.
Well, isn't that what Obama's trying to stop?
Well, think about it. Let's really think about where we're at, folks. Look how the lines get blurred. That's weird. Is a Democrat or Republican? What is going on here? How is it that happened in the unions? So the unions are good, right? The unions are good. Unions save the kids. The unions save families. Well, yeah, you could say that. You could say it's at some point in time, unions did some fabulous stuff. But it's just like anything else, folks. Once they get the power, whether it's politicians, unions, private sector, your boss, yeah, that's schmuck, right? What about that? What about those people? When they get power, what do? They abuse that power. And that's what happens. More and more and more and more. Everybody wants more. See, that's why I'm not a huge fan of the stock market. The stock market is the crystal ball way of doing things. It's governing business through crystal ball. It's the same thing, right? Predict what's going to happen. All right, Bob, what do we got to do? Well, we went public. We made a whole lot of money. Great. The pressure's off. We got a ton of money now. Well, not exactly, Bob. Here's the issue. We got to keep making money. Well, we only do so many widgets. Don't worry about it. Well, I have to worry about it because I'm making the widgets. So what do we have to do? You got to make more money. Well, I want to make more money. How often do I have to make more money? Every day. Every day you have to make more money. Why do I have to? Every day? I can't. How do I make money every day? I don't care. You got to make money every day because we have investors. You're a multimillionaire now, and all those people over there, they want to be millionaires too. So you're going to have to work pretty hard. Well, wait a minute. How do I predict the future? Well, I've got it. We'll speculate. We'll speculate what we think is going to happen, and we'll put it out there. We'll get a bunch of smart people out there with PhDs and MBAs, and they'll confirm it. Okay, is that legal? Not yet. But it will be. Folks, I could go on. There is no crystal ball. There's no way to predict the future. And me as a radio guy, I would love to tell you that I know what I'm going to say 10 seconds from now. And now that I'm broadcasting on Be First in Media, and you can see everything. And remember, I brought cameras in the past. I saw you on the radio today, right? Now you see me everywhere. To hear me, to see me, voice inflection, reflection, what I look like means something too. You can see whether I'm passionate about it or not, and I will tell you I'm very passionate that there's no way to predict the future. And that's the problem that we have as a whole in this country is we want to guarantee. We want to guarantee about what tomorrow is going to look like. And you'll hire anybody out there to predict that you're going to have food on your table, and they're going to get you the money any way they can, and they're going to raise taxes, they'll make a deficit, they'll do whatever they need to do to keep you in their corner. Folks, it's not working out too well, because what got lost along the way is the word capitalism. What got lost along the way is the law of capitalism. The law of capitalism is what defines the mechanism for wealth in the wealthiest nation to ever exist. And we've broken the laws of capitalism. Supply, demand. False economies. You hear all this stuff. You hear it on both sides. You hear it from Fox, you hear it from MSNBC, you hear it from CNN, you hear it from everywhere, and they all have their own spin on it. But here's a simple way of looking at economics, folks. And here's the fix that I have to what that crazy lady said on MSNBC. Okay. Melissa Harris Perry, about people being poor and that the government needs to help them. No. The government needs to stop helping. What has to happen, folks, is you have to understand that it's your name, Inc. You are a business within a business. The United States of America is the United States of America Incorporated. We are DBAs of that major corporation. That's why there's presidents and vice presidents and cabinet members. Hey, you go to LegalZoom, they ask you the same thing. Who's the treasurer? Who's the president? Who's the vice president? They all ask that, don't they? That's weird. Why do they do that? Because it's the same thing. Mitt Romney. Remember I said that a few minutes ago? People are upset about Mitt Romney saying, oh, corporations. Don't be mad at corporations. They're like people. And a percentage of you, many of you, particularly with a D behind your name, were rabble-roused to say, my God, look at Mitt Romney, this multi-millionaire who doesn't care about the people, and he likes corporations over people. I hate to break it to you, folks. I hate to say this the way I'm going to say it, but he's 100% correct. A corporation is like a person, and it doesn't have a social security number, it has an FEIN number, and the taxes that he paid, which was 14%, and the average is 15% that gets paid, that's what you would pay too if you did a Schedule K and everything you did was your name Inc. You should go to work at your job with your name Inc. And if someone else has your name, use your first initial. Put a 1 in it, put a 2 after it. You know, make it up. But then apply for that job and have them write you a check made to your company name. And the reason you do that is, guess why? All of a sudden now when you go to work, you're a business going to work, aren't you? There's hairdressers out there. There's auto mechanics out there. There's tons of people out there who do traveling businesses. There's people that are constantly doing work in this country as sole proprietors. And that's insane. And I can't blame it completely on you. You've not been told what I'm telling you. You must put yourself in the mindset of a capitalist. You must have the mindset of a Mitt Romney or anyone else that's out there capitalizing on a market. If you want to pay less taxes, you can't be Wesley Snipes, okay? You can't be Wesley Snipes. Now, there's a bozo. Yeah, a little high profile, you think? And what'd they do? They made an example of him, didn't they? All his martial arts didn't knock him out of that one, right? Couldn't beat that battle. Because you can't go against the grain. You gotta sand with the grain. If you wax your car in a circle, you get swirls. Go with the grain. Smoother. Know the game, folks, and you will make more money. Because if you become a corporation, listen, I'm not a CPA, and you should get all of your CPA legal advice from them. But my opinion is, if more of us were smarter and incorporated ourselves and went to work as our name Inc., we would have the same exact ability to write off the things that they do. I suspect you're not told because Obamacare couldn't get paid for if a lot of people did that. And you folks, see, you could give yourself a raise. I think a fry cook at McDonald's should be incorporated. Instant raise. Just check it out, folks. Check that out. Because in the end, when you're a wealthier individual and you don't have to worry about gas prices going up because you actually have the money, you're just pissed off because you know you're being taken. That's a better thing. And see, when you have wealth, you have power. And this country has wealth and it has power. And we have administrations now sucking the lifeblood out of this country, out of our military, and we will no longer be the power. More on that another time. When I come back, I'm going to run to a quick break. I'm excited because I'm in the Travis County Republican Party. Right here. I'm right here in Austin. And I've got Tea Party coming on. See, I like tea. I like it with rum. I love it. But I like it for a few other reasons too. Mr. Dean Wright, co-founder and director of New Revolution Now, will be on air when we come back.